What is going on, everybody? Today we are going to be going out and talking about the Jersey Devil, one of New Jersey's longest going, deepest folklores you could ever find. But before we get started, I forgot something. All right, that's better. So without further ado, let's get going. Let's get into it. All right, so obviously people have plenty of questions to ask as regards of who, where, what is the Jersey Devil. The last question people should be asking is, how's he doing? How is the Jersey Devil? What's been going on in his life? We should know. But I can answer 3 of those 4 questions. I'd have to personally find him to ask the last one. So let's get into each one of these questions and get to know just who/where/what is the Jersey Devil. All right, so to answer, where is the Jersey Devil? Where? Well, apparently he's out here in these very forests of the Pinelands of New Jersey. A more exact location that people have said is somewhere down in Galloway, New Jersey. It's about 30 to 40 minutes south of where I'm currently at, but the sightings have gone all over the place, from anywhere to Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, farms in northern New Jersey, and even a sighting on Jonathan Bonaparte, Napoleon Bonaparte's older brother's hunting land up in Bordentown, New Jersey, which is about another 30 minutes north of here, back in the 1800s. So he's been all over, and he's even been seen by some pretty prominent figures in history. So what is the Jersey Devil should be the next question. What could he be? Could be anything. That's the thing. People don't actually have a full answer. Now, obviously, people have said to have seen its sightings. People have thought to have seen it on their farms and shot it. We have a story of one guy shot a cannonball at it. We have sightings of Jonathan Bonaparte, Napoleon Bonaparte's elder brother, who saw it on his hunting land up in Bordentown, New Jersey, and I believe it was 1820. So, a lot of sightings, but yet nobody can pinpoint exactly what it looks like. Some people have said it looks like a horse-headed human body with hooves, like a horse or a goat even, with a pointy tail, much like a regular devil, and bat wings. Go figure. I'm not sure. I've also heard of a goat head, much like the regular legends of the devil himself, as well as the bat wings, horse body, horse legs. But there's also, the original story comes from the Lenape tribe, where they have called it something along the lines of, I believe it's M'Sing, but it was a winged horse demon or god or of some sorts. But that is the earliest known story of it. Now, the who. Who can be actually brought down to one person, and that is the 13th child of Mother Leeds. Now, Mother Leeds was a woman back in the 1700s who was on to her 13th pregnancy. And upon finding out that she was pregnant for the 13th time, she had either accidentally or deliberately cursed her final child. Now, what does that mean? Well, she ended up giving birth to a demon. Sorry for the burp there, I was letting the demon out. Anyways, so upon cursing her 13th child, the child turned into the Jersey Devil. But granted, where does the story go from there? Well, that gets all over the place. A lot of speculation, a lot of folklore just gets thrown around. Nobody's really sure. He flew out the room, killed everybody there, but yet everybody knew it happened because maybe Facebook was a little bit prominent back then. I don't know. And then it began to terrorize the townsfolk and the people and the farmland and eating animals. So that is who. That's all we got. So how the legend has evolved over the years. Well, it's changed a few different ways, very small, minute details, but the name didn't become the Jersey Devil until I believe it was 1902, or at least the early 1900s, where it went from being known as the Devil of Leeds, or the Leeds Devil, to the Jersey Devil. Now, the speculation as to why they called it the Leeds Devil was one of 2 ways. Number one, obviously, being Mother Leeds. It was the child of the Leeds family. Made sense. But it was also an area down there in Galloway, New Jersey, where it is said he was born, was known as Leeds Point, New Jersey. So a little bit of speculation with the name there. Obviously, could be nothing. Another way that the legend had been continued throughout the generations was through mobs of people going to search for it. after some animals were killed in a farm in, I believe it was 1930s or 1928, somewhere in that ballpark, pre-World War II, that's all I know. And it was, almost got taken up by a leaf, that a mob of huntsmen went out to go searching for it after some livestock was killed on a farm. Now granted, could be a far-fetched story. Livestock gets killed by all sorts of other things, animals, bears. We do have bears in New Jersey in some portions. We do have wolves in some areas, if I'm not mistaken. And if not, all sorts of other woodland creatures could have done it. So were they searching for nothing, or were they just living the life of the folklore tale? To make him even more famous, he even had his own video game back in the early 2000s. It was on the PlayStation 1. I actually got to play it, and I remember it faintly. It was kind of like a Crash Bandicoot or a Spyro the Dragon kind of game, where you're just kind of running around, collecting items, beating up a couple strange enemies, and then you finish the level. And I don't think I ever finished the game. I was about 6 when it was out, so I just don't remember it faintly, but I looked at some pictures. I'll put a couple of them up here, let you guys see a few of them, but it was an interesting little game and a nice way to pay homage to such a local tale. Got scared by a balloon. Sorry about that. But anyways. So now to talk about a few of the sightings that had happened over the years. One of the main sightings was, there was a guy who saw it. He was a blacksmith, and he was going to check on the cannonballs he was constructing, and instead decided to open fire on it, apparently hit it, and nothing happened. Now granted, I know a good hunting story when I hear it, and I don't think he hit it. I mean, I feel like it would have took a lot for him to, you know, aim and fire a cannon by himself at that time, and especially if it was overnight. How did he see it? Where did he see it? How did he see that he hit it? I'm sure once it heard the loud thud of the cannonball flying out, it probably flew off. So I have a hard time believing that story. But I will be talking about a place full of cannonballs very shortly. We're going to go down to National Park, New Jersey to check out an old British Army base from back during the Revolutionary War that is supposedly haunted. I want to find out if it's haunted by the British or the Americans, so we're going to see. I have a few tests. I'm going to call it soccer a few times and see what happens. Maybe even pour out some tea. Who knows? Another one of the more recent sightings that I remember watching on TV, actually, that's how recent this was back in the early, I think it was like 2010s. One of those, you know, ghost hunting and wild animal hunting shows. I believe it was on, I don't know if it was National Geographic or something like that. I'll have to look up the episode. I'll plug a little thing about it here. But it was, they were out here in my very area, because I remember I had seen footage. They were at one of the fire towers. I believe it was Apple Pie Hill, which is about 20 minutes from here, not even. And they had caught footage of something flying along the tree line, and that was their proof. They found them. They didn't really have much, considering the fact that there are a lot of creatures that fly along the tree line. We do have owls out here, which have massive wingspans. We do have some pretty big birds. There are bald eagles out here. So they found them in the middle of the night, flying across the tree line, barely seen. But that's all the proof they needed to keep you watching. So real quick, I want to give an idea of what the height is according to how many stories there were about what he looked like and how tall he was. Now, I am about 5'8", and I have a wingspan of roughly about the same. He is allegedly somewhere between 3 foot tall and about 8 foot tall to possibly even 10 foot tall. So either 2 of me tall, half of me tall, or about the same height. So it's very hard to say what it or he or they looks like. So it's very interesting. But yeah, he's a big boy or a small boy. It's really hard to tell. But here's 2 pictures of depictions of what they believe he looked like. And personally, I like the leprechaun looking one a little bit better than the real devil one. I feel like if I saw the leprechaun, I could probably hold my own against him if he's hostile. But I'll show you the video game version too, because that one's just, it's kind of cool looking. I think it's kind of fun. But I don't think that one looks. That kind of reminds me of, what was it, Sly Cooper or something like that? That Fox game that was also out for the PlayStation at the time. So everybody was just copying the same thing, but pretty cool. So to, I guess, further conclude my primary thoughts on what I believe they may or may not have saw, it's kind of hard for me to pin down 100%, but there is an animal that could have possibly made it over here during that time that they may have gotten it confused for. And that animal is known as the horse-headed bat. Now, the horse-headed bat, to my knowledge, is mainly found in Africa, which at that time, obviously, slave trade was still active, which meant there were boats coming over there. Could one of these stowed away? Could a handful of these stowed away and ended up somewhere up here in the Northeast? It's not impossible, but it's also not... I got a caterpillar. Anyways, I'll let him chill for a little bit. He's not harming me. But it's obviously possible that one of these could have made it here. And they look very close to what all the descriptions were. So, who knows? That's my thoughts. I personally would like to say I don't believe he's real. He could be a horsehead bat. But hey, the folklore's fun. Much like this caterpillar's having. So I'm gonna drop him off on a tree and I'm gonna get going. Here you go, bud. Get on the... Well, I tried. So anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today about the Jersey Devil. I hope you guys liked it. If you want to learn more, I dropped a few links to a few places. You can find some details below, more videos, books, pictures, different folklore stories of sightings and whatnot. Next week, we're going to be talking about the abandoned Brooks Bear Brick Factory in Pasadena, New Jersey. I did a little video touching on it a few months back. If you want to check that out, I'll link that below too. So be sure if you want to get a little bit of information on it beforehand. But hey, if you guys enjoyed, please consider dropping a like and subscribe, and I'd love to have you around. And I still got 3 more videos for this month going over different haunted and spooky folklore locations for the month of October, and I can't wait to show them to you guys. So anyways, I'll see you guys around. Later.